Hey guys, Zelonius here. Welcome to another video on the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about something very controversial. Are EA nerfing the stats of players after they've released them? Are you fed up of getting out-teamed on FIFA? Want that God squad that you've always dreamed of? Check out MMOEXP and use code ZEL at checkout for a 5% discount. Check out the link below. MMOEXP, the best place to buy coins. Okay, so this all stems from drama surrounding Foot Centurions Team 2. We've seen a few issues with the Foot Centurions program where the cards don't look how they're supposed to, like their in-game stats aren't reflecting their base. So say a card like Bufal, for example. He has 90 pace on his card, then he has 92 and 88. That makes 90. Whereas we'll get him up. Trent's card, one of the Foot Centurions. His pace has... error retrieving attributes, so there's an issue there. Foot Centurion, still dodgy stuff going on with him. But I'm trying to think of one who I know for a fact didn't have the right stats. I think like Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, it said he had 90 pace, but then his in-games reflected like 86, 87 or something like that. So cards weren't matching how they were supposed to. But the bigger controversy now is that EA have changed after like 4 or 5 days after some of these cards have released their actual in-game stats apparently. They've fixed it now, so it's back to what it was. But earlier on today, Zlatan Ibrahimovic's stamina went from 85 to 61. His agility went down to like in the mid-70s. His balance went down to something in the 50s. Quite a few of his stats were nerfed, and it was the same for a lot of other cards. So the interesting thing about this is, and it comes into a lot of controversy and conspiracy theories, but I don't think it's unreasonable to talk about it, is are EA secretly nerfing cards behind the scenes without our knowledge? For me personally, I think one of the issues with this topic is you can never physically prove it. I think that has to be acknowledged. You can't really prove it properly, but there's definite times where it feels this way. So for me, Alawiran, the 99 pace World Cup Saudi hero, he does not feel as good as he used to. He 100% is not as fast as he was before. And it's not just because players are getting faster. He had 99 pace and he was just getting away from anyone. No one could get near him. Now he gets caught a lot more. Di Maria. I really like Di Maria, to be fair, but a lot of people are saying that that card does not play anywhere near how it used to when the SBC first got released. But the problem you've got here is like this Ibra card now, yeah, it's back to what it was. EA have said it was a mistake and that wasn't supposed to happen. But it makes you wonder, is it that what goes on normally and EA just don't change it? So they change these stats, but you just don't actually see it in game. It's just hidden behind the scenes because EA don't want people to see that. Because ultimately, if they release cracked cards and then new promos come out and people love the cards they've been playing with, they're not going to care to buy new cards. And if they're not needing coins to buy new players, they're not going to spend money on FIFA points. So in turn, EA make less money, which is quite an interesting way of looking at it. And like I say, you can't prove this, but it seems very sus that it even happened in the first place. And then EA just suddenly were like, oh, we just mistake. How does that happen by mistake? I'm going to open up my web browser, so we're going to have a look at that. So this is the EA tweet. We have addressed an issue where some of the attributes were appearing differently for some Centurion player items. So this is what Zlatan stats were. They are back to what they were, but now they were earlier a lot different to this, and this was the same for quite a few other cards. If I'd recorded it a bit earlier, you would have been able to see what they were. But this is an interesting article. It's a bit different, but I think there's some relevancy. Apple battery lawsuit. So this was something that happened last year, where basically Apple iPhones batteries were starting to slow down and get a lot worse as they got older. iPhones slowing down means they're a lot more useless, and when they slow down, it makes you want to upgrade to the newer version, and in turn give Apple money. The philosophy behind this, and the reason I've shared that, is that it comes under the same thing. It's illegal to do this. It's fraudulent, selling a product to your customer that they spend real money on and then nerfing it effectively. Apple I've been accused of that. I don't know where the legal status of it is now, but it's a big row going on. Whereas with FIFA, it's not as serious as an iPhone that you spend £1,000 on, or it's not as easy to prove. But people spend thousands of pounds on this game a year. Some people don't spend a penny other than the game purchase itself. That's fine. It doesn't bother me how people spend their money. But when people are spending this much money, EA can't be going around doing things like secretly doing silent nerfs on cards to make them worse. Because ultimately, that Zlatan dropped nearly 1 million coins in price when people saw this happen to him. Now it's a case of, do you believe EA it was just an honest mistake? Personally, I don't. I do think that this probably does go on behind the scenes at EA nerf cards. And what happened today probably is somewhat proof of it. If it's true, it's disgusting and it's really bad. And EA just taking the mick out of their customer base, player base, who put a lot of time and money into this game. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments. For me though, like I say, you can't prove it, but I think it does seem pretty logical based on how EA want to make money and people spending more on packs, and cards definitely do sometimes start to feel a bit worse. Another thing is like how EA changed the meta. So we had a lot of SBCs early in the year where we were getting cards that were very good in terms of being lengthy. I'm trying to think of a specific example. There was one attacker who was really good, who was lengthy. And then soon after the patch, he basically became useless. So EA knew when they were releasing cards that they were literally buffing the stats on cards to make it so you just had to give them an architect to give them plus 15, and it would perfectly give them. It would perfectly make them lengthy, like the exact amount of stats they needed. Like, and it wasn't like, so say a player had normally would have needed, I'm trying to think of an example, but say a player needed 85 strength because he had 71 agility and stuff. They would boost his strength by so much that an architect would then suddenly make him able to be lengthy. So it was very obvious EA were manipulating the market by releasing promo cards that could be lengthy. They're releasing SBCs that boosted the stats on the physicals to make them so they could be lengthy. So people were doing SBCs for untradeable cards in their club that they would want to have around for a long time, that overnight became absolutely useless in a patch. The loads of cards lost a lot of value with the lengthy meta changing when EA patched it basically completely. So a lot of people lost a lot of coins. With a market like this, it happened with the World Cup pack as well, for not the World Cup, just the hero pack for 25,000 coins that lasted for 10 minutes. A lot of people lost millions of coins on top-end heroes like Ginola and Lucio. It's EA's game, but when people are spending billions, as in the whole player base together spends over $1 billion on this game every year, EA need to be regulated more, in my opinion, and they need to not be taking the mick like this and doing things that just lose people like millions of coins. 1 million coins right now, if you was to get that with FIFA points, it's probably costing you about 250, 300 quid. If you're spending that much on FIFA points to get that, that's like not far off the console itself. You should not suddenly lose a few hundred quid worth of assets because EA make a bad mistake or just do something that completely shifts things overnight. EA get away with it, but I honestly think it does need proper regulating with the amount of money spent on it. If it's true that EA are nerfing stats like this and making cards worse, it's disgusting, and I really hope they properly acknowledge it and it doesn't happen. But I think we'll probably not hear much more from it and it'll probably go quiet, but it's really bad to see that. It looks like that's what EA have been doing. Appreciate you guys watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, keep it spicy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.